Good morning, guys. Welcome to Didedi's Crafty Corner. I'm going to be spending a little time with you this morning, and we're going to make a card. Now, this card is actually going to be for the Simon Says Stamp 100th Flickr challenge over on Flickr. So for this stamp set, I'm going to be using the Simon Says Stamp Even More Spring Flowers and Simon Says Stamp More Spring Flowers. I've already got the flowers that I'm going to be using on my Misty. I'm going to get them all inked up with Versamark, which is a sticky ink that is clear, so that we can put some embossing powder over it and heat emboss it. So all I'm going to do is just get this paper ready by running a powder tool over it. I believe this is an EK Success one. I'm not sure, I don't really remember, but it's a little bag type. And I'm just going to run it over and make sure that it's got no debris on it, no oils from my fingers, and then we're going to stamp this down. Now, when you have this many stamps on your stamping platform, you're not going to get the best stamping, especially in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my ink one more time, and then I'm going to press down really, really, really hard in the middle section where the leaves are, because that didn't stamp out well. And then my idea for this card was to do I have to be very honest, because when I decided to do this Flickr challenge, I've only done a few of them in the past. When I decided to do the Flickr challenge, I got flooded. My mind got flooded with ideas of what to do. This is the one I chose to do today. I'm going to try to do a couple more this week as well. And actually, most of them are centered around these flowers, believe it or not. I'm just crazy about all of these flowers. So I'm adding the gold. This is Princess Gold from Ranger. I'm adding the gold on there, and then I'm going to heat set it, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then we're going to color it. So my idea was to keep these colors super, super soft, and I'm with Copics, and to keep the colors really soft, I'm going to be using a pale green, a pale pink, and a pale blue, which is kind of a teal blue. It's in the blue-green family. And I'm going to leave a lot of white, which means a lot of light color on this card as well. I really wanted this to be super, super, super light, very light, soft. I'm using the Wagner heat tool. As you guys know, this is a new product for me. It is fantastic. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to go ahead and color these now, and as you can see, like I said, this is going to be a very light wash. This is very easy coloring. There's nothing spectacular going to go on here. I'm going to start off with the rose, and I'm going to use my lightest color, which is going to be an RV000. And I'm just going to lay down some color all over the top of that rose. I'm going to go in and use a tiny bit of RV00 at some point and just darken up some edges, and that will be the end of that's the only two colors that I'm going to use. For the other flower, I'm going to be using BG10, and I don't plan on using any other color with that one. I might go in with a BG11 if needed, but I don't actually think I'm going to need it. And then for my leaves, I'm going to be using the G40, which is a very pale green, and if needed, a little bit of G12. So I'm going in and I'm leaving a lot of white space as I color. This is my first coating of the pink Copic marker, which is RV000. As you can see, there's a lot of space left in there. And then I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to go on to another flower. With every layer of this color for the Copics that you put on, it's going to get darker. So, and if you're trying to make something light, you don't want to go over it, and you don't want to use different shades. You can use one color and just go over it a few times, but you don't want to go over the white areas until the very end, and that's going to leave your white areas very, very light. So now I'm going in with the G40, which is a very super light color green. I think it's called dim green actually. And I'm just putting it in kind of the middles of the leaves. I'm leaving an awful lot of white on here as well. I'm going to do all 3 of the leaves the same way, and then I'm going to come in with the BG10, which is a cool tone BG color, and I'm going to do the entire flower mostly on the edges, leaving the white inside a little bit lighter. My darker areas on this flower are going to end up being in just little sections. I wanted most of my white on my flower to be on the pink flower. My pink flower is the showstopper, if you will. It's the one that I wanted you to notice the most, so it's the one I'm going to spend the most detail on. All right, so now I'm going to go back in with the pink, and I'm going to go over those areas one more time, just kind of going in and flicking in one more coloring of this light color. And then once I've done that, I'm going to move on to the other ones again, and then I'm going to come back and just go in with the RV00 just to the crooks and nannies, just a couple of little spaces to make it just a little bit darker. So as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm just going in, I'm picking those spots, and I'm just adding a little more color, but I'm leaving the white areas alone. And that's really going to add the highlight to this flower since I'm keeping it so light. If I had wanted to come in and use 3 different colors, I could have kept that light pink, and not had to leave my white. But because I really only wanted to use a couple of colors, I had to leave the white area very white. So guys, today, as I'm coloring here, I'm just going to talk to you for a little bit. Today I had a doctor's appointment this morning, first thing. It was an imaging appointment, and it did not go well. It did not go well at all. I had to be medicated prior. I had to have an IV when I got there. The machine wasn't working properly. I've got to find another location to go have this test done. It was just a nightmare. So I'm going to work on that this afternoon, but to de-stress, I thought I would come in and start this first card. And I'm super excited to have a little bit of time to work on some cards. I'm taking the entire summer to spend with Pikachu and the princess. We are just having a blast. I'm calling it the Pikachu and Princess Great Summer Adventure. And I mean, we are busy, busy, busy. We are going to the beach, we're going to water parks, we're going to museums and sea aquariums and zoos and Lion Country Safari, and Grandma put a bigger pool, one of the bigger blow-up pools in the backyard. We are so super busy, and we are just having the best time. So some of the other news that you guys don't know about, but some of you have some of you know about, some of you have talked to about, we are expecting another grandchild in October. This will be Pikachu and the princess's little baby brother, and this pregnancy is extremely challenging and difficult. So with that being said, I'm just spending as much time as I can with the grandbabies and just allowing them to have the best summer possible. I'm spoiling them rotten this summer, so if you guys don't see me on here as much as normal, it's because of that, and also because the last few months I've had a lot of health challenges. You guys know I burned my leg. I had a vascular problem. I had a little mark on my back that had to be taken care of, and now I've got this new issue going on with my breast. So it's going to be a complicated few months. It already has been a complicated few months, but I will be on as much as possible. I promise. And I'll try to keep you posted about what's going on with the new grandbaby. Like I said, our prayers are out there, hoping that everything turns out okay, and we're staying as possible as we can be. All right, so now I'm going in and putting the final touches on to this flower, and I know from as far up as you guys are, you probably can't see the detail, but I will zoom you in so that you can see. Also, I've had a few of you ask, and you're spot on. You knew it was coming up. Susie is leaving to go have her PET scans in Arkansas very soon, and I promise I will come on and keep you guys updated on that. I've had quite a few people asking when she was going, and it is very soon. I can't tell you exactly when for privacy reasons, and you know, you guys know the last time she went out of town, she was robbed. So we won't be disclosing when or anything like that, but it is very soon, okay? Very soon. And we are hoping for the best for that as well. I feel pretty confident that we're still going to be in remission, you know? I really do. I feel very confident, but you never know. So I will keep you guys posted on that, and I thank you guys so very much for, you know, keeping track of that and asking me when it was coming up. That just, it just means so much to me. Okay, so let's finish up this coloring. I'm going in with my darker green now. I did decide to flick in some of that G12, and just in the darker areas that I'm going to blend back in my G40, just to make sure that everything is blended. And I feel like we've been doing this coloring forever, and yet when I sat down to do it, I thought it went so quickly. You just never know, right? And like I said, you can hardly see the coloring on that pink flower, but when I zoom you in, you're going to be able to, here you go. See how pretty that is? So pretty. And with the gold, stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So I'm going to be using the Silver Sneakers, Simon Says stamp, You Matter stamp set, along with the coordinating die. I'm going to be using the sentiment Make Me Smile, and I've cut out the U already. I'm also going to be using the wavy stitched scalloped wafer thin dies from Simon Says Stamp. They come in a set of 3. I use the medium one, and to cut out my panels, my white panel and my pink panel, I use the Simon Says Stamp stitched rectangles. The inside out ones, you know, so that you can have the stitching on the outside or the inside. Those are my favorite rectangles, my favorite size to pair up on a card. So what I did is I took my little wavy die, my scallop wavy die, and I cut it out at an angle, and then I used the same die that I used for my panel and cut out all around it so that I would have stitching all around the pink area. And then I chose some gold cardstock that would match my flowers, the gold in my flowers. And then I cut out another square in the middle of that, because you don't want to waste that paper, right? You can use that square for something else, or a sentiment or anything, right? You don't want to waste it. So since I'm using very heavy Nina cardstock, you're not going to be able to see that it's not, you know, that the middle of the gold's not there. So I've just cut everything out, like I said, with the Simon stitches. I'm going to glue it all together. I put some fun foam on the back of my white panel. I put fun foam on 2 of my flowers, and then everything else is going to be glued down using the Tonic Studios Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive. I've been trying that out lately. I really like it. I really do, guys. It seems to be working very good. It's very sturdy. I'm not sure about the cost effectiveness yet. I'll have to let you know as I use it as to how much I'm using compared to my art glitter glue, which seems to last forever. I'm using my white fun foam, which I've told you guys is my staple for popping things up. It's a lot less expensive than white foam tape, although I did use, or foam tape, 3M foam tape. I did use some inexpensive white foam tape that I had laying around on the flowers. So I did use some double-sided tape, the white foam tape or double-sided tape on the flowers. So whenever I cut my foam, my fun foam or my white foam, whatever is left over from my panels that I cut out to keep stored for when I'm going to make a card, I cut it into strips, tiny strips for windows, window cards, or bigger strips, you know, and I keep them all in that bag that I was showing you. So I'm going to be popping up the 2 flowers, and I'm going to be putting the leaves down with just glue, as well as the U. So I've taken the U, and I found that this Nouveau glue does very well with just putting around the edges of the U as well. The tip is okay with that, so that's pretty awesome. I'm really enjoying this glue, I have to tell you. So I've decided to put all of my flowers, all of my leaves, straight down to the cardstock. I'm going to leave them hanging over the top of the card just a little bit to give it some interest. One's going to go in the right hand corner, one's going to go in the left hand corner on the top, so that's 2 tops, and then my last leaf is going to go on the bottom left. right above the pink scallop that we have there. So that's bringing everything back into the 3s or 5s to draw my attention back to the flower. And then I chose the pink base of the card to bring attention to my focal flower, which is that pink flower. So I'm going to attach my blue flower, which, like I said, it's popped up with some foam tape. And then I'm going to put my pink flower on there, and that will actually finish up this card. This was a very easy project because the coloring was super easy. I did cut these out with the Brother Scan and Cut. I don't think there are dies for these. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look. If there are, I might actually purchase them because I use these flowers, all of them. I have the entire set except for the poinsettia, and I use them all the time. I absolutely love them. And there's a couple of cards that I have planned coming up using them as well. So the pink flower is going to go off on the other side there, and like I said, I really tried to make that pink one be my focal flower, so it's on top of the green flower, and that's why I made the pink bottom pink instead of another color. So now I'm just kind of, as you can see, it's not quite straight, but I'm going to fix that before the final picture. You see the gold edge right there? A little off, but that's okay. I'm going to gently pull it apart and stick it back down again, and it's going to be fine. So all right guys, stay tuned for the close-up at the end, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.